Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy RuffledRowlit, or aka Ruffled on this channel, joined by a home dog, Zor, aka Little Zor. Say hi to the people, comrade.
Zor, what's good, people? It's your boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've got my coke, I've got my heroin, I've got everything I need. I've got everything I need. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be eating some, I was going to say eating some ass, but no, we're going to actually be roasting. We're gonna be roasting a little bit of roasting, okay, of Mortal Kombat 11. So you guys may know Mortal Kombat, huge franchise, huge games, fantastic games, by the way. I love Mortal Kombat. It's one of my favorite like fighting type games across the board. Amazing game, by the way, in terms of quality. The new one that's come out right now, Mortal Kombat 11. Amazing quality, but there's been an issue, and there's a bit of drama in the community right now, and we're going to be reading through an article here, actually, on the screen, and I'll probably pop it up on the screen somewhere. I'm just going to move my camera a little bit so you guys can see it in the editing. There we go. Alright, so on this side, you should be able to see the article kind of scrolling by. We're going to read through this article and what they have to say about the monetization, because there's been a lot of criticism about it, due to, like, the amount of grind needed to get skins and just, like, progress and stuff. Also, some character being locked behind paywalls and that sort of stuff. There's been a bunch of stuff like that. Now, DLC for Mortal Kombat is nothing new. They did have DLC characters in Mortal Kombat 10 as well. I'm not sure if you know about that, Zor. But I remember, like, they had a bunch of characters behind, you know, DLC and that sort of stuff. And that's totally normal, right?
I bought some myself, like Alien, you know, Predator and those.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think Jason Voorhees too, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I remember that. Because I remember I used to watch, like, I was watching, I think it was a tournament I actually watched when he was, like, wasn't he kind of OP for a while? I'm pretty sure he was, like, broken for a bit.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but that's besides the point, though.
I think so.
That's besides the point. The point is this, though, is that currently the monetization of the game is a little bit of a shit show. Now, it was officially announced by the people behind Mortal Kombat that they're going to be pulling it back, and there's an article here on Game Informer which we're going to go through. The first one, though, that we're going to go through is the one talking about the issues of the monetization system when the game came out, and how it's going to it's potentially a very predatory system. And the other article is about the planned adjustments and balance to the rewards. So it all has to do with the rewards in the game, because you're able to buy these kind of like time crystals, which are basically like, you know, they follow the usual, like, you know, scale of how they want to price things, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you can get, like, you know, usually it's like, oh, you get 300 of them for, like, you know, $5 or something, or stuff like that. But basically, here's the general rundown, though. So, what does Mortal Kombat 11 monetization look like? We're going to read through the article, and we're going to give a little bit of our opinions. We're going to go through it a little bit, talk about it for a minute, and then, you know, slowly, one step at a time, go through things. Now, if you want to read this on your own, this is something I always do on RuffledRowlit. I make sure to link things down below so you guys can check them out on your own, because I feel like that's the right thing of me to do. So, down below, there's going to be a link to this. You guys can check it out, read the article on your own if you want to, but if you just want to listen to it, I'm going to read through it right now. So I'm going to start from the top here, which is, what does Mortal Kombat 11's monetization look like? Now, the details regarding Mortal Kombat's monetization are trickling in. At the PSN and Xbox stores, the time crystal amounts have been posted, which is 500 time crystals is $5. Now, these time crystals, as far as I can understand, can be used in the Tower of Time to basically skip things. Now, there are these challenges that you can do in the game, which basically give you rewards across, you know, over time, like character skins and stuff like that. But as you may notice as we go through this article, it's a little bit iffy how these things work out. So, of course, 500 time crystals is $5, 1,150 of them is $10, and so on and so forth until like $40 and whatnot. Then furthermore, Shao Kahn is available for about $6. Now, the original story of the game is that Mortal Kombat, or like the original story here, before they updated it, because now they've updated it with the brand new post that's come out about, like, you know, changes coming. But the original story was this, though, that Mortal Kombat 11 features a number of modes, such as the Tower of Time and the Crypt, which dole out rewards like character skins across, you know, the time you spend playing the game. Now, you can get these skins in exchange for either currencies you amass by playing the game or by completing challenges, many of which are brutally difficult, even with the consumable items you can use to help make these battles easier. So they've essentially made them, like, very hard just to kind of force you mentally to go into the state of wanting to, like, rather pay for it to skip it, which is something I personally, like, you know, I don't know about you, Zor. I mean, I'd love to know your opinion on it. Personally, I've always hated that, like, concept of paying to skip content. I just feel like that's one of the worst things the gaming's ever been, like, you know, handed from the industry. Like, you know, us as consumers, I've always hated, you know, when we accept that or when we're handed that from these developers, you know, this idea of like, oh, pay to skip these things so you get to the good stuff, you know, ignore all this, you know, other stuff. Like, I mean, I'm paying for a game to play it, not to skip parts of it. So what's your thoughts on that? I'd love to know your opinions on it.
I think the ideal microtransaction to me is when it's purely cosmetics, you know?
Yeah.
And or like cosmetics or more content, like DLC or something like that. I guess that's not a microtransaction, but I think you get my point. Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
It's still an in-game purchase, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I like when it's just skins and stuff, you know?
Yeah, same here. Like, I think Fortnite, as much crap as it does get, is actually got, like, a pretty good system for that. Now, sure, I think the skins are a little bit overpriced in Fortnite, I will say that, but then you do have the Battle Pass, which gives you, you know, skins and some in-game cash and that sort of stuff for, like, a set amount, and you can, you know, it's like you pay for something, but then you also, you get some little stuff out of it, you know?
Yeah, you get encouraged to play more.
Exactly. You actually get some level of content out of it, right? Some challenges and stuff like that. Like, it's... I feel like that's way more worth it. I know some of the games have implemented that as well. We actually have a soon-to-come video about the topic of Apex Legends and how that game really didn't do a good job, for me, in my opinion, with its Battle Pass, because I don't know. We're going to talk about that in a later video, though. But, again, as you just mentioned, if it's just skins and you just buy them, like, if it's just one of those things where you see a skin, it's like $3 to $5, you pay for it, and that's it, I'm totally fine with that. I mean, I would appreciate if that didn't exist at all and I could just play to get those skins in-game through my hard work. I'd prefer that, but if that's an option, then you know what, I'll, you know, if it's there, it's a cool skin and I want to, you know, support the game, I'm going for it. But if it's going to be something, you know, like loot boxes or, you know, just getting like in-game currency to skip content, that just doesn't feel worth it though. Now, they continue on in the article saying you can get these skins in exchange for, you know, as we just mentioned, currencies you amass by playing the game or by completing challenges, many of which are brutally difficult, even with the consumable items you can get to use to basically help you through these battles easier. Now, we knew that there was going to be some way of purchasing some skins and possibly circumventing these grinds, but we didn't know exactly what that would look like. The premium shop for Mortal Kombat 11 is now live, and and here are its initial offerings. So basically on the premium shop, there are skins to get, but the thing with it though is, it's a very sketchy way they've set it up. So we continue down here and they basically say, as you see, you can purchase a total of 5 cosmetic items right now. 2 skins, 1 intro, 1 taunt, and 1 combat card decal, which is basically a profile background. Fair enough. The timers in the store indicate these items rotation out every day or so. Now, this is a system that's been implemented by, I think Fortnite did it first, I would say, right? The kind of the system of like, you know, rotating skins every day. I'm pretty sure Fortnite kind of started that. So, as I just mentioned, you know, the whole rotation thing, you know, popularized by Fortnite, introduced in other games as well, I'm pretty sure. But either way, so they're doing that. Now, let's continue through where we were. The timers in the store indicate that items rotate out every day or so, though how random this rotation remains unknown. Will there always be only 2 character skins for purchase at a time, or could the store potentially offer 5 skins at some point? Now, each item tells you where you could otherwise earn the specific reward, whether it's an unlockable in the crypt, a reward in Tower of Time, or something you get from playing AI battles. Another question here, there aren't any skins from Towers of Time in this initial offering. Is that just a coincidence, or will those skins, which can be difficult to earn on their own, not be on the table? We'll have to wait for the items to refresh and find out. And we continue down here. The skin cost is 500 time crystals. So there you come into the whole concept of, you know, paying for these things in that sense. Now, as you can see, after playing quite a bit of the game, I'm at profile level 3, have played through the entire story mode, done tons of AI battles, completed the tutorial, and have only 570. The Jax character intro is 750 time crystals, so I can't even buy that one. The taunt is 200 crystals, while the profile picture one is 100. It might be somewhat telling that the most expensive thing is from Towers of Time, but again, we'll have to wait until the store refreshes to see if the mode in which you otherwise earn a reward affects its price. Now, you can also purchase easy fatality tokens, but not skip fight tokens or experience boosters, as of right now anyway. You can get 5 tokens for 100 crystals, or 40 for 500, or 100 for basically 1,000, which are, I guess, you know, you get the point of them. Overall, I'm a bit mixed on the particular aspects of the game. While I like that I can skip difficult Towers of Time challenges with the time crystals to get the skin I want, it's not necessarily doing it to save time. I'm doing it because some of those challenges are frustratingly difficult, and that's where we have the issue. That's what the issue is, that you're right, you know, because honestly, I don't see an issue with rotating the skins, right? That's not a problem. That's fine. You know, Fortnite does that. It's like, you know, it's kind of like it arbitrarily creates this kind of like, you know, demand thing where, you know, it's like limited time offer and you really want it. Like, that's just a business thing. I'm not going to judge them for that. It's just a thing. So, basic issue here. Let's break it down. They're making it way harder for you to play through this game, you know, this game mode, to get the things you want, aka the skins and, you know, the decals and all that sort of stuff. They make it harder, which forces you, mentally speaking, to go, and this is where the issue comes in, right? It's a matter of them playing on the human mind and how our minds are very fragile and would easily like break, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, this is too hard. You know what, whatever, I'll give $5 for this, right? I'll pay $5 so I can get this thing, you know, instead of having to, you know, spend ages with this AI that's just not gonna let me win, right? Or it's gonna let me win once I've spent 100 hours on it or some shit. I mean, I'm being a little bit, you know, over-exaggerating here, but it's an issue, right? Now, they did say they're gonna fix this. They did say this is gonna be fixed, or they're updating it, and that's from this article now here. But before we get into that, I want to ask you, Zor, again, because that's why you're here. We're, you know, doing it back and forth, my home dog. So Zor, do you think that them making these challenges, or seemingly making these challenges way harder, you know, that you need to do to get these skins and whatnot, do you think that's wrong, or do you think that's fine? You should just be good enough and just handle it on your own? Like, what's your, like, point of view on that? Because personally, I don't like it. I would prefer if, you know, it was just it was just balanced and you didn't have to, like, you know, literally be a star at the game to be able to handle this. So what do you say?
I think it's there's both like pros and cons with it, because making it challenging is really like encouraging to some people. It makes them want to play more and try harder. Yeah. But at the same time, that also encourages them to just skip it and, like, yeah, just pay for it instead, because that's way easier.
Yeah. Yeah, and that, again, that plays into the human mind, right? You're playing with the, you know, our brains, which are very easily, you know, wired into the concept of, well, I'll do what's easier, right? If I can't be bothered having to, you know, deal with this issue in front of me, I'd rather just pay for it, since the option exists. And that's why, like, it's a concept of the option existing, which is the problem. And I think a lot of people accept that too much, because a lot of the younger audiences have grown up with that in their video games, so they just accept it. But honestly, back in our day, that wasn't a thing. You couldn't just pay to skip shit. If you didn't, you know, you had to play through those parts, you know, and make it through. So I think they should just, in all fairness, they should balance it out and, you know, just make it so you can get through these things without making it super impossible or take ages to do it. This kind of reminds me of Star Wars Battlefront 2, where to get every single character, or, like, you know, get every single, like, thing that you wanted in the game would take you literally, like, hours upon hours upon hours. I think it took, like, I can't remember how many hours it would take you to just get, like, Darth Vader unlocked, right? Which was just ludicrous. And, you know, the only way to get him otherwise was, I think, paying.
Insane amount, considering it's like most people's favorite character, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, but here's the actual update though, because it would be dishonest of us to just be, you know, talking about, you know, the game and, like, the monetization stuff and not looking at the update that's been given from, of course, them. Now, I will say, this shouldn't need to be something that comes like, you know, after the game is out. This should have been there to begin with, but hey, let's just see what they have to say though. So NetherRealm Studios plans to adjust balance and rewards in Mortal Kombat 11. Now, with Mortal Kombat 11's review embargo ending today, which is what mentioned here on the actual post, some fans have been expressing concern over the single player's progression toward rewards. Getting cosmetic items in the game is said to be difficult with the current ratio of time to rewards. So that's the issue, right? It takes you ages to get the rewards, and also the difficulty of the you know, getting the rewards themselves. It just, right, it takes you ages, plus the battles in between are slow in themselves and being hard, so it's like, it's just not balanced enough. And then right down here, they mention also that as you will seemingly not get enough currency in-game to spend on anything worthwhile. We took a look at the game's monetization earlier today, which, as you can see in the, you know, as we just talked about in the previous post. In today's Kombat cast, which is NetherRealm's, basically like their little show, they noted this problem and said that they plan to fix it. The change will come from the, came from the behind-scenes tweak that the studio can do in the background, adjusting values of what you get rather than in a full patch. A patch requires a much bigger list of tasks bundled together, so you won't see an update notification fixing the values. It will just be different one day. Now, this is a little bit worrying, right? They're not going to put it out as a patch or anything like that. They're just going to switch the numbers, which means that this is literally, that shouldn't that kind of prove, though? Like, Zor, wouldn't you agree? Doesn't that kind of prove then that literally they just did this and hoped that nobody would notice? somewhat, right? Because that's what it feels to me. It feels like they did this hoping nobody would notice it, and they would just get away with it, and hopefully, you know, nobody would notice it. They could make some money on the sideline.
You mean like people forget about it and
exactly, not just forget about it, but like
from the issue.
Just people wouldn't, like, you know, catch on to it, right? Maybe that's what they thought, like, oh, people won't catch on to it, and now they're like, ah, shit, they caught on. Let's lower, you know, the thing down a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's even more dangerous, because
So
think
they
about it.
Don't notice.
Yes, think about that though. They can lower the numbers without putting out a patch, and they can increase the numbers without putting out a patch. They can literally make it like right now, right? For example, what they can do is right now, when everybody's angry about this, I mean, I'm not sure if everybody's angry. I know there's been a lot of criticism about it though. But let's say now when people are angry about it, they decide, okay, let's make it easier, right? And then like you know, 2 months later from now, right? 2 months or a month from now, when, you know, people aren't thinking about this anymore and the topics died down, they just go in there and they're like, let's just tweak this up a little bit.
And just slowly raise it, you know?
Exactly. And that's where the danger comes in. That's where the danger comes in about these things. They can basically shift these things around at any given time, and that's where I think this is dangerous. So I think to summarize this, because we're going for a pretty long video here, and I don't want to go here for another 20-minute video, but to summarize this in a simple term, this is not right. These sort of practices are what ruin gaming for all of us. This is what leads to, you know, the sort of things you see from EA and what EA does, you know, with their games. And this leads to the sort of things that you see from Activision, where they charge you like $2 for literally a dot site that's literally a dot that I can make in Photoshop in 2 seconds. This is what this leads to, right? Is that these practices become more and more common, and I'm worried, man. I mean, they didn't even, they literally proved here to us they can do this, change it up and down without us noticing. Because through a patch, we'll notice, right? The fans will notice when it's a patch. They'll see it, right? There's patch notes. It says what's in there. But if it's not a patch note, we won't see it. They can just tweak it in the background, whatever they want. Now, of course, they can do that with normal patches as well, and not just not tell us. But this is now proving that that's something they could easily do without us noticing, which is really worrisome, if I'm gonna be honest myself. So that's about it though. Zora, you want to input anything else? Any like opinions you have to just want to insert here, or do you just agree?
I totally agree.
Fair enough. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, drop a like down below. Thanks so much for watching. My name, of course, has been RuffledRowlit, aka Ruffled on this channel, and of course, I've been joined by your home dog, Zor. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you next time. Have a great day.
Subscribe.
Yes, subscribe.